There's an old saying, be careful what you wish.
What is your reaction to that? 86% of the American people believe he is too old to take on what is the hardest job in the world. I don't believe he'd be capable of sitting down to do an interview like this.
Republicans didn't want Biden because they know Trump lost him in 2020. And while their asses are still sore after every court and the majority of Republicans, including Pence, all said Trump lost the election, they kept lying anyway. And then the debate happened.
Dealing with everything we have to do with, look.
Joe Biden is still sharp, but he's 81. His stubbornness and perseverance is the reason why he's been successful all these years. But he's also smart, and he cares about our country. And Joe Biden, he also knew a woman who might just have the secret sauce to bring this nation back from the brink.
Just yesterday in the state of Florida, they decided middle school students will be taught that enslaved people benefited from slavery. They insult us in an attempt to gaslight us, and we will not stand for it.
The numbers are coming in, and, well, tiny fingers won't like it. While every other polling group, everyone, had Kamala Harris climbing from number 2 to now holding a 5-point lead nationally, Nate Silver, who created 538 just 2 days ago, had Trump with still a commanding lead. Then this happened. Yeah, Silver now has Kamala surging, and by the time you see this, she will lead in Silver's picks too. How is it that Kamala Harris, almost invisible over the last 3 years, could, in less than 2 weeks, overcome Trump's lead and now threaten to bury Trump moving forward? Well, you could say that Trump is ripe for the picking, and no one could say you're wrong. His recent appearance at the National Association of Black Journalists revealed that Trump is one of those personalities who surrounds himself with yes men, when clearly, in this case, someone should have said no.
Your time. I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabid to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking black supporters to vote for you, why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question so in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the black population of this country. I've done so much for the black population of this country.
Well, you could say that Trump didn't lose a lot of votes there, what with his small percentage of African-American support.
Follow up, sir, and then we'll move on to other questions here. Some of your own supporters, including Republicans on Capitol Hill, have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris, who is the first black and Asian American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major party ticket, as a DEI hire. Is that acceptable language to you? And will you tell those Republicans and those supporters to stop it?
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
diversity, equity, inclusion?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
Give me
a definition then. Would you give me a definition
DEI.
of that? Give me a definition.
Sir, I'm asking you a question,
No,
a
you
very
have to
direct
define
question.
it. Define it for me, if you would.
I just defined it, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a black woman?
Well, I can say no. I think it's maybe a little bit different. So I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much. And she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She is always identified as a black woman. She went to a historically black college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn and she became a black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do you believe that
I think somebody should look into that too when you ask, continue in a very hostile, nasty tone.
But what didn't get said was why.
And white people are done being bullied.
Discriminating against and denigrating just denigrating white people.
Why did Trump allow himself to face a marginalized plurality of Americans who are really familiar with Trump's racist and xenophobic attacks? 2 words: Kamala Harris.
Donald Trump spoke at the annual meeting of the National Association of Black Journalists. And it was the same old show. The divisiveness and the disrespect. And let me just say, the American people deserve better. The American people deserve better. The American people deserve a leader who tells the truth, a leader who does not respond with hostility and anger when confronted with the facts. We deserve a leader who understands that our differences do not divide us. They are an essential source of our strength.
Trump can feel what we all can feel. There's a shift here, a cultural tsunami, and it's headed for Donnie diapers. And Kamala Harris is at its forefront. As a malignant sociopath, Trump couldn't stop himself from appearing before these young men and women, convinced he was smarter and more formidable. But that confidence fell like his massive gut released from his man-girdle when they demanded that he respond to their pointed questions regarding his racist comments through the years.
And now she wants to be known as black.
Trump's numbers are falling. And while we are 95 days out, the Trump squad not only has to deal with a failing candidate, but the VP as well. J.D. Vance is making Dan Quayle look like Stephen Hawking.
Pete Buttigieg, AOC, the entire future of the Democrats is controlled by people without children. It's just a basic fact. You look at Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, AOC, the entire future of the Democrats is controlled by people without children. And how does it make any sense that we've turned our country over to people who don't really have a direct stake in it? We're effectively run in this country via the Democrats, via our corporate oligarchs, by a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices that they've made, and so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too.
What the f*** is wrong with this guy? But he wasn't done. Vance went before the ultra-conservative, batshit-crazy Federalist Society, spouting Project 2025's Orwellian threats.
The challenge confronting American conservatives is that we have lost every major powerful institution in the country, except for maybe churches and religious institutions, which of course are weaker now than they've ever been. We have lost big business, we've lost finance, we've lost the culture, we've lost the academy. And if we're going to actually really affect real change in the country, but I don't think there's like a detent with these people. I don't think there's sort of a compromise that we're going to come with the people who currently actually control the country unless we overthrow them in some way.
It occurred to me you could make an argument that Vance is a Democrat plant inserted by James Carville to upset Trump's campaign. And while that's ridiculous, it's exactly what Vance is doing.
A bunch of childless cat ladies.
Did you know that half of the women in America don't have children? Is that who you really want to alienate by calling them insignificant cat ladies? Vance is not only a two-faced coward, but he wouldn't even defend his wife after Trump's dinner guest and white supremacist said this.
J.D. Vance also has a non-white wife, an Indian wife, and a kid named Vivek. Who is this guy really? Do we really expect that the guy who has an Indian wife and named their kid Vivek is going to support white identity?
And the fact that Trump is trying to get out of debating Harris speaks to his growing paranoia, as well as the personal stakes should he lose.
Well, Donald, I do hope you'll reconsider to meet me on the debate stage. Because as the saying goes, if you've got something to say, say it to my face.
A Trump loss will, of course, mean criminal trials on 61 counts that could put him in prison for the rest of his life. But I think he's almost as afraid of the former prosecutor.
And then their campaign says, I'm the prosecutor and he is the convicted felon.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
The polling surge speaks to Trump's vulnerabilities, but his increasing sociopathy is a direct result of the Democratic candidate. Harris's timing is almost supernatural. She's relaxed, confident, and has been through the trenches with men much tougher than Tiny Fingers. She put away murderers and gang members as an attorney general, so I suspect she's not intimidated by an 80-year-old man with an orange wig who shits himself regularly. But the Democrats remember 2016 very well, so there will be no brakes applied before November 5th. The prospect of 4 years of this cognitive plane crash is not only terrifying, but threatens the world. Everyone from the Teamsters to Taylor Swift know this, and the polling numbers speak to the new awareness. Trump is a plane careening out of control and ready to crash with all of MAGA sitting in first class.
I'm very excited about that.
Kamala Harris is the real deal. She represents the America our founders envisioned. And yes, she has a cat.
I'm ready. Let's go.
Damn right. Trust me. Shut the fuck up, Don.
Who's with me?
Oh, yeah, the lie.
Indictable.
Out of sheer morbid curiosity, I'm allowing this freak show to continue.
This isn't their Republican Party anymore.
I don't want to talk about this stuff.
Am I wrong?
Damn right.
We're in a lot of trouble, Donnie.
I think he's crazy.
I'm Chip Franklin.